Superman was one of the first death battles I have ever watched, and as such, I have quite a history with it. So, I had a lot of expectations that were just waiting to be fulfilled. Were they met, or did I leave disappointed? Well, spoiler alert, I could never leave this episode disappointed. My hype levels were already through the roof literal weeks before the episode came out. So, let's discuss the episode and why it's probably one of the greatest things since sliced bread. For starters, both the analyses are phenomenal. I do prefer Clark's analysis a tiny bit more, but it's not by that much. This episode, by far, has my favorite analysis segments in the season, period. I love the way they cover both characters' stories, and especially their personalities. Instead of going into how Superman is so OP and that makes him a boring character, Goku vs. Superman 2, they cover his power set and how OP he is, and then talk about what makes him such a good and compelling character. And I love that so much. They are finally doing Superman justice. And Goku's analysis is essentially the same. I love the way they go over all his moves and techniques, all the different variations of the Kamehameha, and especially Ultra Instinct. In fact, they talk about it in a way that makes it feel like Ultra Instinct is essentially Goku's endgame ability and what he has been building up to over his entire life. And the way they talk about his character and how he's not a bad dad is just perfection. But the writing isn't the only good thing about this episode, because now I want to talk about the editing. My god, the editing. Okay, so, not only is it just phenomenal outright, but I'd honestly say, without a hint of irony in my voice, that this episode has the best editing of the season. Especially the super flare. I love the build-up to it and the ensuing explosion. Despite being a comic panel, it's got an amazing sense of timing and impact. I don't know what DJ was on when he made this, but he absolutely cooked. And that's just one example. One. The rest of it, whether it be Superman breaking the bonds of infinity or Ultra Instinct Goku effortlessly dodging multiple attacks, is just phenomenal and so nice to look at. And you can tell it's so good because I'm showing it on screen, which I never do for analysis segments because I am extremely lazy. They also use my favorite image when they talk about Superman's super smell, and I just think that's absolutely hilarious. But let's talk about the real star of the show, the animation. Look, you can make the argument that, oh, it's another Dragon Ball fight, so we know what to expect. And to that I say, you are objectively wrong. Yes, there is a lot of flying and shooting lasers, but it is easily the best we have seen of that style of fighting in Death Battle. Period. The sense of speed in this episode is incredible. The characters both look and feel really fast, and it really complements the action and fighting. The choreography itself is phenomenal. It's fast-paced, we get to see a wide variety of Goku's attacks and techniques. Superman gets to hit Goku so hard that we see alternate versions of this fight in the multiverse, which, can I just say, is a great substitute for the changing animation styles a la Saitama vs. Popeye. Not only does it save budget, but it still allows us to see different versions of this fight in different animation styles. And we get to see the best version of Superman, Milkman Man. He is legitimately my favorite. I don't know why, he's just so funny. Ultra Instinct's dodges are incredibly well animated, and the fight in general is incredibly well animated. This honestly feels like what Gogeta vs. Vegito should have been. In fact, I'm going to say something that I will never be able to take back. In my opinion, Goro vs. Machamp had the best 3D animation in Death Battle history. It looks really nice, there's no jank in it whatsoever, and every movement has some weight to it. But Goku vs. Superman 3 tops that by a lot. The animation looks nicer, there is essentially no jank in it either, and each and every movement not only has weight, but also impact and speed. Plus, the animation looks really nice. Not only are the character models really good, which I find to be hilarious because one of them is from Fortnite, but the backgrounds and effects look great as well. They're so bright and vibrant, and it really helps to sell the lighthearted friendliness of the animation. And again, the character models are really good. Goku uses his Fighter Z model, which looks much nicer than the Xenoverse model from 2, and it really works for him. He can be really expressive. Superman, on the other hand, once again, uses his model from Fortnite, and I don't know what's funnier. The fact that he is using the model from Fortnite, of all things, or the fact that it looks better here than it does in-game. No joke, it lacks the shiny texturing it has in Fortnite, and it just looks so much nicer. And, like Goku, he's also very expressive as well. But the fighting and animation quality can only get this episode so far. How's the writing? Well, it's really good. This episode is overall just really well written. I had you going for a second there, didn't I? The tone of the animation is very lighthearted, and it really shows. It's like Might Might, but with Goku and Superman. Both characters are so friendly towards each other. There's no, this is my burden, be thankful it's not yours, like in Goku vs. Superman 2. No. In this episode, we get, nice suit. Thanks, my mom made it. No joke, they literally have that exchange in the animation, and it is the best thing on the planet. Also, just the individual character moments are so well written. Goku being all like, whoops, we'll just have to wish that back when him and Superman accidentally destroy the moon is incredibly in character for him. And I don't know if it's just me, but with Superman's reaction to the destruction of the moon, it's almost as if Goku notices Clark's turmoil and tries to reassure him that, hey, we can just bring it back, it's cool. And that reassurance is what allows Clark to cut loose and stop holding back against Goku, which is what Goku wants. And Clark's world made of cardboard line before he goes all in is just so in character for him as well. But the joint character moments are by far my favorite part of the animation. I love when Goku calls Clark out for holding back. Clark's response is, nah, I'm good, it's cool. Which makes sense, since he was worried about accidentally blowing up the multiverse before Goku brought up the idea of wishing things back. I also love how Goku just knows when someone is holding back. Like, that is such a Goku thing to do. And as I said earlier, the thanks my mom made it exchange is so adorably in character that it makes me giggle with glee every time I watch this episode. It's so wholesome. But all these really cool, really fun character moments wouldn't be possible without the incredible voice actors behind them. Michael Kovac really nails Goku, to the point where I honestly think that his portrayal of the character is my favorite portrayal of the character. Meanwhile, Xander Mobus returns again to voice Superman, and I adore his performance as well. He just really captures Superman's personality, and I honestly hope he comes back as the character one day. Not against Goku, though. As much as I adore this episode, I think it's time we put it to rest. The track is also really good. It's really super. You get it? Because that's the name of the track. It's called Super. I'm honestly sure someone laughed. Finally, we get to the ending. My god, it is phenomenal. Superman flies around the universe, accumulating as much solar energy from every single sun he can find. Meanwhile, Goku is back on Earth, clearly very excited for the fight ahead of him, as Gokus tend to be. So, without hesitation, he charges up the biggest Kamehameha he can muster, and then he blasts it towards Superman. Superman then uses his heat vision to get through the Kamehameha. Even after using Kaioken, while in Ultra Instinct, I don't care if he can't do that in canon, it's cool as fuck, Goku still can't push Superman back. So he summons his Susanoo avatar to punch Superman. Supes and the Gokano meet fists and the multiverse itself explodes. We then see Goku and Superman looking over every other version of the fight before fist bumping and going for one more round. I shit you not when I say I had tears in my eyes when I saw this with my friends. It was that emotional for me. Again, I grew up with this matchup. I've got a connection to it, and this ending just ticks all the right boxes for me. The only way this episode could be better is if the post-analysis is also really good. Hey, wait a minute! Yeah, I like this post-analysis. It's structured a lot like the first Goku vs. Superman, or Rick vs. the Doctor for those who haven't seen that, where they go over the specific categories, Although this time they label which character edges out the other with these nice little colored boxes. And to the surprise of absolutely everybody, they gave Dragon Ball Super Goku immeasurable speed. Never have I thought that normal Goku would get immeasurable speed, but here we are. Well, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Overall, this post-analysis is pretty great, and it's made even better with Wiz having an existential crisis, with Boomstick reassuring him that they're just doing this for fun, no other reason, it's just for fun. And that's what this episode in the entire series is. Fun. I honestly... Okay, forgive me for going on a little bit of a rant here. I kind of wish that the internet would just have this reaction, and that we would stop caring about who wins and who loses so much. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not wrong to want your favorite character to win. Far from it. But to say that an entire episode is bad just because you disagree with it, it's just kind of undermines the work the entire Death Battle team does for the entire series. And it really kind of sucks, in my opinion. I feel like if people didn't have such a strong sense of, oh, we want to be right, or we want to not be wrong, or whatever, then we'd actually be able to enjoy a lot more episodes, like Ben 10 versus Green Lantern, or in my case, Frieza versus Megatron. I mean, I still enjoy that episode, but I just don't agree with it. That episode, it's a good episode, but it's I didn't really like the analysis or post-analysis, but that's just a me thing. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. Forgive me for being all philosophical there. I just wish more people who had opinions towards the show would just have the feeling that, oh, hey, I may not agree with it, but it was fun, and I would watch it again. You know, just have fun. Jeez. So, overall, that was Goku vs. Superman 3. It was a fantastic episode, and one of the best this season. Probably the best, but the finale isn't out yet, so I can't judge it just yet. But what score would I give it? Well, remember in my Scooby vs. Courage review where I gave it a 100 out of 10? I sort of regret giving it that score because, well, it's just absurd. Looking back, it's more of a 10 out of 10 episode. I don't think I'll ever give another episode that's kind of a score ever again. That being said, I don't think I can give this episode a score. I just can't give it a proper score. Not because I think it's bad, but because the enjoyment and emotional attachment I have to it defies any ranking system I can think of. So yeah, no score. It's just that good. Sorry to all the people who were like, oh, now I can't summarize his opinions on this episode. I'm sorry. As for the next time, well, I'm happy that Galactus vs. Unicron is finally happening, so I never have to hear about this goddamn matchup again when it comes to speculation. I am legitimately so sick of hearing about it at this point. So I'm glad it's happening, even if I'm not necessarily hyped about it. But that's just my thing. That's just a me thing. I just finally want to hear more speculation about what the finale could be, and outside of like the big two, which is Galactus vs. Unicron and Kyle vs. Simone. Which, now that I think about it, Kyle vs. Simone is probably going to happen. Is probably going to become the next Galactus Unicron, to the point where I won't even care about that matchup either. Really hope that doesn't become the case, because I really like that matchup. Anyway, what did you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit that like button as well as the subscribe button. and ring the bell if you want to see any more of my videos in the future. Follow me on my socials in the description, and check out Lucariboi's review as well as our reaction to the episode in the description below. Anyway, with that in mind, I will see you later, Cap Nation. Bye-bye. Also, watch my Godzilla X Kong trailer analysis, please. It was really good, and I wanted to talk about it, and no one watched it. Please watch it.